Ideally, today is we are going to be seeing how sentences, role of sentences can be made use of to solve bold-faced questions. Very important is, again, how to identify premise, main point, conclusion. So these are technical terms. And what does it mean by counter argument? All of this is related to boldface, and very important how to eliminate options. Now, for me, of course, today would also be a little challenge here because many of you have not taken GMAT and you're the first timers. So you may not have in-depth knowledge of what CR as such. So today I might not discuss CR in totality, but even without you knowing much about CR, let me see with only knowing about role play of sentences, if I can teach you boldface. I mean, that's where it's a challenge for me. Let's see if I can. End of the session, we will look at the feedback. Let's start. Now, when we talk of, so I think boldface questions, I'll just choose my pen. Just give me a minute. Okay, now when we talk of boldface, the word is nothing but in bold is what we are looking. So in this, you will be having a paragraph, a question body per se. I will show you a question body in which two sentences of the question body, the argument is nothing but the question body, will be in bold. And you will be required to identify the relationship between these two sentences. What are the two sentences? We call them as boldface 1, BF1 and BF2. That is the basic logic. So there are two boldface sentences. This is what the aim of the question type is, or rather aim of my examiner would be. Okay, I will just show you, just give me a minute so that, before we go inside the session. So this is how it looks. Ideally, this is how it looks. If you can see that there is something in bold, one sentence is in bold and the other is. So this in totality, I would call as the question body. So this is my question body, or what I would call as the basic argument. The whole story, if I say something that we call as an argument obviously is a sentence in here. I'll tell you later. But this is a Q body and this is your BF1 and this is your BF2. Right? So let's move. I hope everyone has understood what the structure is. So can we start with the theory? I'll just go back to our slide. Okay. Now, very simple that I have written this slide tells you structure of a para. Now, I just showed you a paragraph, right? So when you saw that para, what did you see in the para? What is the para all made up of? What is the basic building block of a paragraph? What is it? You can write in the chat box. What do you think? What did you see in the para? Basic building block. Sentences and words. Excellent. Perfect. So if I say structure of a para, technically, what am I looking at? I am looking at every para is made up of sentences and words. Right? So to know the structure of the para, we all have to be knowing what exactly are the sentences doing. So when I say role of sentences, the role is basically, I would say, the aim or agenda that every sentence is trying to play in the storyline. What is the aim or agenda of every sentence or sentences we see? Now, before I go into agenda of every sentence, let us go into the basic two families. So this is the two basic families that every sentence would be. So if you are a writer, you are writing something, every sentence, you agree we can have opinions. Opinion is nothing but my thought. It is an idea. So I will have sentences which are nothing but used to convey opinions, thoughts, and ideas for that matter. That is what can be my role. Second role is that every sentence can be a fact. So they can be details. They can be piece of, I would say, information. Right? Now, difference between an opinion and a fact. An opinion, if I talk of, an opinion is very subjective. I would say it differs from person to person. From person to person. And whereas if I talk of a fact is, I would say, universal, right? You can, there is scope of questioning its veracity. Questioning its veracity. Now, what do you mean by veracity? The truthfulness. For example, today is Saturday. Today is Saturday is a fact. So suppose I say today is Sunday, you can question my veracity and you might get an answer in yes and no. But if I say today is a beautiful Saturday, you can't question me why the Saturday is beautiful for me, right? It is my opinion. It differs from person to person. It is my judgment. So opinions are nothing but, in simple terms, they are judgments, right, of the writer. Clear with this, everyone? I hope this makes sense. What is the difference between an opinion and a fact? Can I move ahead? Everyone clear? Yes. So we've got, let's now move. So this is the basic distinction. Now, do you agree that every opinion and every fact can also have further roles to play? They also can have roles to play. For example, I, like, just as I use the word for example. So what do you expect when I say for example? What do you expect will follow after this? What will follow? What will be my agenda? To give a piece of a sentence or to give you a data that will support what I said before. So moment I say for example, would I give a supporting thought or will I give a thought that will go against what I said? What should it be? Moment I use the word for example, I will support. Perfect. So who gave me the clue? Who gave me the clue? The word for example gave me a clue what is to be expected next, right? So very important is, as a reader of a question body, you have to understand, one, the role of sentences. But when I say sentences, obviously, as I am looking at role of sentences, equally important it becomes to also pay attention to the use of words. You also have to pay attention to the use of words by the writer. So if you have to really break into a para, you have to structurally understand the para. It is a combination of sentences as well as words. So we'll see. Let's move. So now look at this list. Do you think this list makes sense? So this is a broad list that I follow. Now, is it necessary that all of them will be there? All of them will be there in my every passage? No, not necessary. But what will always be there? Generally, you might have an introductory, a sentence might introduce an idea. It can introduce a story. It can introduce a situation, right? That's a basic role. So start looking and reading data with this perspective. It's very important when you move into critical reasoning, you start looking at data with this perspective. Similarly for reading comprehension. Anything under verbal aptitude, that is, which requires you to read and comprehend passages and paragraphs, it's very important that you start looking at them, every sentence, with this perspective. Like, does it introduce? It might be a cause. So moment, certain sentences can be a cause. Cause of what? Cause of an effect, right? So how do I identify a cause? So for example, if a sentence starts with because this. Now what will follow after because? Since, due to. What will follow after these words? So because of something, because of some action, or because X for that matter. So if I have a cause here, or since, so something has happened since there is an act after this. So all of these words are called as cause indicators. So very important is, whenever you see such words, you will know that these are all working as cause indicators. Okay, next. Support. Now, which will be the words for support? So sentences will play the role of support, or I can say they will want to strengthen something. So they can be examples, they can be deeds. So ideally, support and strengthening examples or evidences would be present. Then I would have roles of elaboration, elaborate or explain. That is another role. So what is the difference between support and elaborate? Support and elaborate, the difference is I can have n number of new examples. I can give you many new examples, but elaborate, I will try to explain a particular, a prior example or idea. That is where I talk of. So it is a continuing factor. Here I can have a new supporting example, right? Then negation. Negation is very important. Negate is refute. Direct attack. Direct negation, direct attack to a prior idea or data. That is what is a negation. So there are many sentences which are refuting prior thoughts. Compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. Now, what is a difference? Compare is obviously you're trying to look for similarities or anything that is dissimilar. That is also that I would say is, sorry. So dissimilar or similarities is where I compare. But when I say contrast, contrast is words like but. I have words like however. When I say but, however, although, what do? What am I trying to introduce? I am introducing, so for example, today is Saturday. But so today is Saturday, I have an off, but I have a session to attend. So when I say, but I have a session to attend, did I negate Saturday? Did I negate that I have off? I do not have office? No, it is a fact. Today is Saturday. Today there is no work for me to do. But in spite of that, I have a new idea that is there, which is relatively more important for me. This is very, very important. So contrast words in any story are stars. They are very important. Moment you see but, moment you see however, moment you see although, you all should remember that a new idea is getting introduced, which is relatively more important for the author. Clear with this? So this is something that we all should be smart observers of whenever we are reading paragraphs and passages. And from today's session, your takeaway should be, this is the star. These words are star words. Whenever you see them, keep in mind that which is the idea or a sentence that is relatively more important for the author. Clear? Let's move to the next. Effect, I've already discussed. So what can be an effect indicator? Now, if suppose I say if A, then B. So if it's a combination of if A, then B, so this then, after then, whatever is, this becomes my effect. This is my effect. Words like therefore. Then I say so. All of these can be effect indicators. So anything after which the result, effect can also be the result of something. And finally, the last that we have is nothing but my conclusion. Yes, as a result also, perfect, we can use that. Then what I have is the last would be conclude. So conclude is what? Conclude can be the final say of the author. Okay, for students who are seeing this for the first time, if I write the, I'm so sorry I didn't mention, this is equal to THE. So that is what how I write my the. So conclude is nothing but final say of the author. So conclusion, typically you have to be logically smart that sometimes the result, end results also can be called as conclusions. But ideally, conclusions are the final say, or I can say the argument or the motive of writing the para, motive of writing the passage, the final motive. I'm calling it not just the motive, but the final motive of writing a paragraph is what I would call as the aim is to conclude. Clear? I hope this all makes sense. What is the role of sentences? So now to solve boldface, you have to be smart enough to know what role each sentence is actually playing vis-a-vis with respect to the full story, right? So let's move ahead. Now, so here, ideally, if you want to really nail your boldfaces, you have to, the author wants us to believe it. Yes, the author, so as Vishwadeep mentioned, yes, author wants us to believe. What is his motive? That is what you have to. Everything in aptitude is purely based on the writer. We as readers are only observers. Clear? Let's see. So conclusion. So when I say conclusion, the one statement that is supported by others. So this is like the star. You have to find the star. One that is supported by other. Now, when I say other, I can say maximum number. Maximum number. And that itself doesn't support any other statement. So basically, it is the standout feature for this every other sentences. Now, why did I say maximum number? Because, and there's another thing for which author's bias is prominent. Author's bias is preference. Author's bias is prominently visible. Prominently visible. That is something what I will be calling as a conclusion. Clear? Next, sub-conclusion, or for that matter, intermediate. Now, it's a very thing. We will look at these examples. So when we read a passage or when I'm writing a para, remember conclusion will always be one, full and final one. But as I move, as I write from sentence 1 to sentence 2, sentence 3 to sentence n, this nth one, okay, another very important thing, it is not necessary that always visually the last sentence will always be a conclusion. I can start with the conclusion and try to prove the conclusion true. Or I might start with an introduction, I might start with an example, and with the help of the example, I might try to prove what my conclusion is. So there are two ways in which a conclusion can be reached. I might start and I might also end with. Now, so this might be my final conclusion, but to reach this final conclusion, I might have these two. So author might introduce a common belief or an idea. So this can look like an opinion. It can look like an opinion, and based on this common belief, he might give a conclusion derived out of the common belief. But what he might say in sentence 3, however, data suggests XYZ. So moment I use the word however, what have I done? I have put a break on this conclusion. This particular conclusion that was derived from sentence 1, I have put a stop to this. And I am saying there is a definite data which is suggesting something else. Therefore, the prior belief or common belief is invalid. Belief is invalid, right? So what did I do? So I just gave you a little case structural example. What did I do here? What did I do? Can you all tell me how many conclusions then there is there in the para? How many? Which one? S2 will be my conclusion. So I have clearly said S4 is the conclusion. So what did I do actually? So is S2 the final conclusion or S4, the nth sentence, the final conclusion? Which one? The nth. Why? Why nth? Because S3's role was to tell boss, S2 is not great. What you are seeing in S2 might be what I think, but S3 shows me data that how S2 is wrong. So ideally an intermediate conclusion, or what we call as a counter conclusion. These kind of statements, an intermediate conclusion can either be either a support minor thought, or it can also be a negation or opposite of the actual conclusion. So what we actually see as a counter conclusion is this format. This S2 is working as a counter one from the main. So, but it isn't the main, it's a conclusion that also supports a different claim. So if it is supporting a different claim, the claim can either be supporting the nth one, or it might either be different from the nth one. Clear? So let us see a little example. So let's see this. So Arun Pratap, will S3 be intermediate conclusion, or would it be a premise? What would I call it? Can it be a conclusion if I say, however, data suggests? So will that be a fact, or will that be an opinion? That'll be an evidence, right? So I will, when I move into that, I'll show you the methodology, how I react to sentences. So I'm just giving you the theory and then we look at it. Perfect. It's a premise, so I can't call it a conclusion, right? Next, so let's look at this. So what does this say? Students who do well on GMAT typically drink Red Bull during the break. Now, first thing, yeah. So what is this? First thing, is this an opinion? So for an opinion, I will call it, is it an I, or is it a detail? Is it D? What is it? Students who do well typically drink this during a break. Is it so? So do well on GMAT typically drink Red Bull during a break. What kind of a sentence is this? Is it a factual detail, or is it an opinion? It is a detail. Okay. So can you verify this? Can you verify this, boldface? Can you verify this? Doing well, typically, doing well, typically. So well, is it a uniform word, or is it subjective? And the word typically, drink this. It is a perspective. It is an opinion. It's objective. It is not a detail. A detail will be, now let's look at the next. There are a lot of students who have done well while taking Red Bull. Now this also, I am just continuing this. So it's like a minor elaborative. I can say it's an elaboration. However, recent studies have shown. Now if I say recent studies have shown, this sentence becomes a data. This is a detail that can actually be bad for this, and that the students who took this and scored high could have scored higher if they had not taken it. So please compare between the however sentence and the BF1 sentence. Understand how this becomes a data and this BF1 is an idea sentence. It is not a detail. Last one. Hence, it is incorrect to believe that Red Bull can help your performance on the GMAT. So it's a classic kind of what I gave you the structure. So what is the main thought of the author? Is the author believing BF1? No. So what is the aim of the para? To tell you that BF1 is not same as BF2. Everyone agrees to this? Right? So I hope you understood how beautifully structures are written. Now, how did all of us, get to know this? Only by paying careful attention to the choice of words. So very important is the choice of words. Yes, BF1. So can I say contrast? Would I say contrast? Vishwadeep, there is a word that is being used. So can I say there is a contrast? Sorry. Can I say there is a contrast, or would I say there is a direct negation? negation or contrast? Which is the word that I will use? And can you tell me the clue? There is a clue in the last sentence. There is a clue in the last sentence that will help you decide between a contrast and a negation. Can someone tell me what the word is? It is a negation. Very good. So the word incorrect, when you're saying something is incorrect, means you're refuting it, right? You're saying it is incorrect to believe can help you because it can't. The example is exactly opposite. It is saying it is bad. They could have scored higher. So had they not taken it, so doing well automatically becomes, it comes down. Automatically my doing well is under question, right? Clear with this? So this is a direct refute. It's a direct negation. So I cannot call it a contrast. It is a BF1 is not equal to BF2, and definitely my BF2 is the final conclusion. And this would be like an intermediate one, right? So there are all of these, they're counter ones. So both are working on counter to each other. Can we move to the next? Clear? Let's move to the next. So very important points to remember before we go into application. Very, very important when you are reading, please identify the conclusion. Don't lose track of the story. So do not lose track of the story. This is a very important thing in boldface. So a lot of students tend to, we do have where we can use our options and try doing, but believe me, it will waste your time. It is purely like an assumption kind or a main idea kind of a question type. I always identify your conclusion, what the conclusion is, what the author is trying to prove, and what the main point is. Now, as you identify the conclusion, plus focus on which sentences are details, are data, and which are opinion based. And if detail, are they support data or are they the negate data, the opposite data? Similarly, which other sentences are opinion? Same thing. Are they support opinions or are they negate opinions? So this is something that you parallelly need to do. So as you are identifying the conclusion, as one identifies the conclusion, one needs to also focus on the other sentences. So on which sentences are your database and which are opinion based. Clear? Then once you've done this, once you've got this, move to your options. Please move to your options. Vertically scan and eliminate obvious errors in the answer choices by using the first or the second. So I am not saying only use the first or only use the second. So you might find obvious errors either in BF1 or BF2. So this will be purely based on what you think is 100% true, that the role of BF1. So if you realize the boldface one, 100% is an evidence. So what will I do? I will look at the options A, B, C, D. And okay, I'm just writing 4 options now, although it's 5th option. So I will check in the options for that matter, any option where the first is not an evidence, I will cancel, because I know 100% to it is a data. Forget evidence, it is a data. If any option, it is written, it is an opinion or a claim or a thought, I will immediately cancel those options. So instead of taking both, take either one, BF1 or BF2 for fast elimination. And then finally, the next step is to do the XY pair analysis. So then when I do the XY pair analysis, then maybe I use the second boldface and the relationships between the two. And last, please search for argument indicators to determine the relationship. So between the evidence and the conclusion, if any. This is something that I've already mentioned. So ultimate goal of boldface is to know the story and the relationship between sentences. Relationship between given sentences. This is what we are looking at. Okay, so are we ready to solve some questions? I hope this is clear for everyone. Can we move to solve some questions? Let's see. So this I'll just go a little fast. I will not explain. These are terms that which I just showed you. But this is different. These are terms that are there in the what? The options. So for premise or for data, for premise or for that matter, any data related stuff, these are the terminologies that you can get. Similarly, for conclusion, you will be having, or for that matter, for the idea based, the thought, these are the terms that you can get. And so based on this, let's move. So let's apply now. First question, everyone can see the question? I am launching the poll. I want you to, okay. Can you see the poll? Can everyone see the poll? If you can just write down in the chat box. Okay, so as you solve this, just type in your answers. Let's see what your answer would be. 2 minutes time. Now, this is your first boldface question. I don't expect it to be 100% correct, but yes, let's see how close you can get. Okay, still I am ending the poll. Please, students who've not polled, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So there's still 20% remaining. I'm going to end the poll. I'm sharing the results. Okay, quite a lot of you have got D as an answer, 36%, and I actually have all of them. Amazing. Okay, let's learn this now. Just give me a minute. Okay. Excuse me. Now, let's break it down and learn. Exam perspective. Now, I would show you first how I would solve it in an exam scenario. And then maybe I go into explaining and all. But first, let me show you how I would do it. So first, two things I always keep in mind, that as I am reading a particular para, I am focusing on individual role of sentences as detail or idea. Second thing I keep in mind is the final say. These are two things that I'm looking for. I am checking which is a D and which is an I, and I'm also looking for the final say. Let's start. In order to achieve self-sufficiency in electricity production, the government proposes to construct 11 huge hydroelectric power plants. Okay, so there's a proposal. So obviously, this proposal is a fact, but it is a proposal. Let's move. Although this is a massive project, it is probably, the moment I see the word although, I'm a little cautious, it is probably not massive enough to achieve the goal. So moment I read this, I catch the author's, my writer's thought process. Writer doesn't think that this will be enough to achieve the goal. So my author and government are not in sync. This is the thought process, is what is there. Next, it is true that, very important, it is true that adding the projected output of whatever plants to the output that this can achieve now would be enough to meet. So, but my author also says it is true. Please pay attention to the choice of words that the writer is making use of. It will, however, take at least 15 years to complete the project, and by then the majority of whatever will be too old. One thing is sure, but as per the story, what is the story? That this government and my author are not going in sync. Now, can I say my author and government are in negation? Do you think they are in negation? 100% negation. Can I say that? I definitely cannot say that they are in 100% negation. I can't say, Udit, they are not in 100% negation. Why? Because there is a very important word, which is the word. It is true. True. Although it is a massive project, probably not massive enough. So he's giving some positive aspect to it, but also saying probably not massive enough to achieve. But it is true that it could now be enough to meet the forecast. So, but one thing I know is author definitely, I would say that this is the relationship. Author is not negating, but there is a perspective that the author has. Let's move. I've got this story clear. Move. First introduces a proposed course of action. Tick. Nice. For which argument provides support. It might, but is the argument supporting it? Is the argument supporting the proposed course of action? Even if this part is fine, okay, I'm fine with it. I'm coming down. Introduces a proposed course of action. Argument provides support. Okay, but I have doubts. It should have, this is a doubt that I have. First introduces a plan. First introduces a plan. Looks nice. It's introducing a plan. Good. That the argument evaluates. I can keep this. Argument is what do you mean by evaluation? To evaluate something. So if a teacher is evaluating your paper, question paper, what is evaluation all about? Evaluation is about to check is it correct or incorrect, right? So can I say between support and evaluate, which is better? Between support and evaluate, which one looks better? Is the argument supporting it? Is my argument supporting? No, it is evaluating. I can definitely use the word evaluate here. Perfect. Let's keep this. First introduces a proposed plan for achieving a certain goal. This also looks nice. First introduces a proposed plan for achieving a certain goal. Excellent. Now, move. Now you will say, ma'am, I couldn't really make use of anything here. So what will help me is the second one. So this was purely based on the story. If you knew the story, it would have been very easy. Let's move to the second. Second gives evidence in support of the course of action. That is my first cross. Does the second support? Thus, the second, it says it is true that adding the new plants can achieve now would be. But is this the main role that we are looking at? Second gives the evidence in support. It will, however, very important the word, it will, however, take at least 15 years because I'm using the word now. I am not saying in order to achieve the goal. The goal is not now. That is the catch. The goal was not about present. The goal was about future. To achieve complete self-sufficiency was the goal. This is the most important aspect. Why I mentioned the first step was focus on the conclusion, focus on the actual story. So it is not supporting that course of action in totality. Next, second gives a reason for not adopting a particular alternative course of action. Now, is it an alternative? Are there two courses of action that we are discussing? This is where the cross should come in. There is no alternative course of action. I'm talking of the same course of action. There is no new course of action that is being discussed. Plus, nowhere it is mentioned that do not adopt. Do not adopt is not a word. I am saying you adopt it, very good, but it will not satisfy what you are looking for. That is what this option is doing. The first introduces a plan. The second provides evidence that is used to support the plan against possible alternative. This is super creative. Where did you see this? Where do I have against possible alternatives? This is a classic cross that will be given, right? Next, let's look at D and E. I'm left between two. Both sides are 100% correct. Second is a claim. Second is a claim. I am saying it is true that adding this. Can I call it a claim? Is my first question. Can I call it a claim? Students who've selected D, many students have selected D, right? So can I call it a claim? I can't call it a claim, right? I am saying it is true that adding this can. He's not just randomly claiming. Now still, suppose you couldn't, I'm fine. That has been used in support of the plan, but that the argument maintains is inaccurate. You should have seen this. You should, how many of you did not pay attention to this and you rushed with an answer? Maintain is inaccurate. Now what happened? It is true. That is his opinion. Okay, so I'm giving you benefit of doubt. Please notice, Pooja, I did not cancel the claim. I did not cancel the word claim in totality. I'm giving you benefit. It isn't, he's saying it is true, but when he's saying it is true, what is the implication? It is his opinion. It is true, but that is something there is, you can at least scope of verification is there. No, you can verify how it can be enough. There can be quantifiable factors to it, right? Now, if you notice E option, I have not written it is a data. Have I written it is a data? No. I am just saying it is providing evidence. Means when you're providing evidence, basically what are you doing? You are supporting. You are providing evidence that is used to support what? Author's evaluation of that plan. Now, when you say evaluate the plan, that is the plan, is the plan logical or not? That is what the evaluation of the plan is. Now, what did you find out? It will, however, take at least 15 years to do this, and by then majority. Now, when I come to option E, it clearly says that it is giving evidence that is used to support, but it is also raising a doubt on the eventual long-term feasibility of the plan, right? Are you getting the logic here? Why this question? It is actual GMAT 700 level question. It's a beautiful question to show you how story and careful elimination is important. First thing, this word inaccurate should be very easy to remove. Students who got caught with D, it is an easy question as per my standards. Elimination should have been done properly. If you ask me, any student could have got caught between either A, you could have got caught between A and E, but not D. Neither would be B. B has many crosses, but between A and E, I would say that based on, just give me a minute. I think my tool is behaving a little erratic. Okay. So between A and for that matter, E is where my XY pair comes in. Because this is a very neutral option, but motive wise, this automatically is closest to the conclusion or rather the storyline. This is actually closer to the story. So I hope you got to know how E is the answer. Very good students who have got E. Any doubt, please ask. Clear for students who got this wrong, that A is only saying support. Support is not the main thing. But here it was not just to support, but to support that will the plan be success or not success. That was the aim of the para. Can we do another question? Let's move. So boldface actually is interesting, right? Do you think BF is interesting? Too much of overthinking. Do you think creativity is required here or objective analysis of the para? What is important? Objective analysis of the para? So, or creative thinking? Should you think? Objective analysis, very good. So please start becoming observers. Excellent. Okay, 2 minutes. Excellent. I think you all did comparatively better than the last one. That is, I would say the distribution is pretty good. Yes, the correct answer. Let's see. So I'll not, obviously I'll go fast here. Most of Western music since has been based on a 7-note scale known as this. But when did the scale originate? A fragment of some bone fluid excavated at this has 4 holes, which are spaced exactly the right way for playing the third of this. So this is the data that we are saying. The entire fluid must surely have had more holes. Okay, so moment I read this, I know that this is an opinion, an idea. So moment I look at this, what I will do is I glance my eyes. And I'm showing you solver methodology. I'll just glance down. I'll glance and I say that confirmed by data, evidence, opinion, okay, a discovery, not a discovery. Okay, I'll keep this. Provides evidence to support the main. Okay, but let's come back. And the flute was made from a bone. Now this is about and the flute was made from, that was long enough for these additional holes, these more holes to have allowed a complete this. Therefore, okay, therefore, the N who made the flute probably used this. This again is an opinion. Now, first and foremost, moment I read this, does BF1 and BF2 as such have any kind of a very distinct relationship per se? Does it have a very distinct relationship? Can you see? As if, you know, one is supporting the other in a very distinct way. So, must surely have had more holes. And I'm saying probably used as a diatonic scale. So, a distinct relationship is something that I don't see. So, what I will do is, I will just go down to my options. And first is an opinion, no supporting evidence is presented in the argument given. Do we agree to this? First thing. Of course. Because I don't see anywhere how more holes are there, because this directly is jumping into probably used as scale. So this idea and this idea, I don't see a relationship as such with distinctness. That is used to support the main of the argument. And second is that main. Of course, the word therefore, because I'm using this evidence and then saying therefore, this is the case, right? So I can keep this option. Next. First is a conclusion. Now this preliminary drawn on the basis of evidence presented elsewhere. Where is it? Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Students with Delhi. Where do you see the evidence elsewhere that they must have more holes? The idea is having more holes. These additional holes. Do you see more holes? Must surely have had more holes. There is nothing. The second is main, I'm fine. That it supports, I'm fine with that. But here is my cross. Between B and D, this is the most neutral option. This is the most neutral option that you can have. Last, first provides evidence to support the main. Cool. Second states a subsidiary conclusion. Second is not a subsidiary, it is the conclusion. This is my star. This is the conclusion. In that is drawn in order to support the main. And which is your main conclusion here? Because there is someone who's picked up E. This was the main conclusion of the para. The end result was they probably used a diatonic musical scale. Where is it stated earlier? I don't see it stated earlier anywhere. Very bad option this is. So correct answer here is Bombay. Clear? You read it, Krishnan. Sorry, Krishan. It says the bone used as evidence for more holes. Can't regarding bones be used? So read a fragment of bone. The word is more. Do you have anything related to more? See, it's more is a very, very important. So here, when we talk of verbal aptitude, that becomes the challenge. We can't just assume कि हाँ इसका मतलब यही है. You know, this is what it means. I can't just assume that. Do you have exactly the word more? I don't have. Fragment of bone that was long enough to accommodate additional holes. Where? It says the flute was made from a bone that was long enough for these additional to have allowed a complete this. So the second, basis of evidence. It's a first is a conclusion drawn on the basis of evidence presented elsewhere in the argument given. Was made from a bone that was long enough for these to have allowed a complete. But what is the agenda? Must surely have had more holes. So does this really, I'm just saying, was long enough? Was it a sure evidence? Was it a sure shot evidence? What you are agreeing, Bharat, is I completely agree that fragment of a bone, but I am not, it is again, I'm saying must and the flute was made from that was long enough to this. So this particular sentence itself is like what? It is starting must surely have had this and this structure dekho and this. Matlab in totality, I am calling it like an opinion. Aisa hua hoga. So for this sentence, yeah, this is come with and. That means both X part and Y part is my writer's opinion. This must have holes and the flute was made from long enough. But where is data? Where is proof? Where is proof in the para? Find me proof in the para. No proof, right? Yeah. Actual, Deepak says actual. I'll come to your question, Deepak. I'll go with the last question because, so can I go with the last? So first actual argument was, where did they originate? Where is the actual argument? How do you know that was the actual argument? That is just a question. So now so that means, Deepak, what you are assuming is anything that is asked as a question is my original argument. No. Argument is what is the motive of the complete paragraph. Most of them has been based on this, known as this, but when did it originate? When? But the later part of the para did not tell me anything about it. But what was the aim of the para? Was to say that probably used that they made the flute use. So what exactly becomes the story? Was there any sentence that is explaining when did they originate? Was there any sentence, any detail explaining that? Nothing was explaining, right? So hence, that is not my final conclusion. Final conclusion can't go with my structure. Ki, haan, question is always an argument. That is the beauty, that is it is illogical why the question need in it. But that is the way. This is where this much data is given to me. How do I critically analyze the data? So there are rules of CR. So you please, I would appreciate if you can go and read a little about what exactly is a conclusion. So conclusion is, I might have n number of sentences. Who would you decide? The one that actually the author is pushing forth. The author is trying to arrive at and his maximum investment is. That is what we have to think. Okay. Last question. I'm giving you the answer. I'll take it in a different way. I'll just stick the answer and I want you to check, compare with your option. Whatever option you've picked up, I want you to compare. I've given you the answer. The clue here, all these three questions, of course, were 700 level questions with subtle difference. But 700, even though they are 700, you will realize that they were not out of the world. The clue here was, again, to know the story. Newton developed concepts and techniques that are fundamental to modern calculus. L developed closely analogous concepts and techniques. It has traditionally been thought that these discoveries were independent. Researchers have, however, recently discovered notes of L that discuss one of Newton's books on mathematics. Okay. Several scholars have argued that since the book includes a presentation of Newton's calculus, and since the notes were written before L's own development of calculus concept and techniques, it is virtually certain that the traditional view is false. So notes were written before own. So this line is basically trying to tell me that N and L, they were not independent. Obviously, the traditional view is false. They are dependent. L is dependent on this. A more cautious conclusion than this. So what is this? this is this previous one. Than this is called for however. So this trick of this, I would say the challenge in this question was reading. It was the ability to pay attention to the shifts and the words. That was the only challenge here. So a more cautious conclusion than this is called for, however. So this is wrong. What is wrong? According to my writer, the traditional view is false. You can't say that in totality. Let's read. L's notes are limited to early sections of N's book. Sections that precede the ones in which calculus concepts and techniques were presented. So what is the end result? What is the author trying to say? That it can be possible that N and L are not related to each other. They are working independently. Can be independent. I hope the way I read, all of you are clear about what I just said. Do you agree to what I just said? Does the author agree with the several scholars? No, the author doesn't agree with the several scholars, right? Now, look, first provides evidence in support of the overall position that the historian defends. Is it correct? Is the historian defending the overall? Defend is support. That is where my first cross comes in. I am done and dusted. Historian doesn't defend. I have crossed everything. Is the historian defending the overall? The first part, first evidence is not going in sync with historian. A, B, C gone. The first is evidence that is being used to support a conclusion that the historian criticizes, because this line was very important. A more cautious conclusion than this is called for, however. If you had paid attention to this line and you knew that this is data, this was data which is supporting this previous line. The second is evidence offered in support to the historian's own position. First is evidence that is being used to support a conclusion that the historian criticizes. Second is further information that substantiates that evidence. It doesn't substantiate that evidence. So when I compare both, this is more closer to the story. Clear? It's completely fine if you've got this wrong. I'm fine. But I want you to see how the importance of reading the para carefully and then proper elimination. Did you see that? Did you notice this? I hope you all learned something today. Some takeaway in the way things happened. And you could observe your error pattern. Any doubt? What is however, Prakhar, the usage of word however? However, that is a writing style of however. You can write either however. So in the first part, however is contrast. However is never summarizing. However is to show, okay, I just give you an example. However is a contrast, and after however, you will always have the speaker's bias. Always speaker's bias is there. So you need a cautious conclusion, right? Okay, I hope this session was of value. You will make use of this session. And my agenda here, since many of you were first timers, some I know. So the thing is, my aim is to, today's session, that would be my aim. The takeaway should be careful reading of the para. How conclusion, story match, these things are very, very important, even in boldface. And how you should eliminate carefully. Observe words, observation of words. That also is very, very critical. I have shared some links. So you can, if you want to know, this is a micro course, which obviously is there, which is coming up. So you can go and click on it, get to know more about it, and definitely, register yourself for that. If you want any help with the applications, eventually people who are taking the GMAT within a month, anything, I've sent a link for that. And of course, anything that you would like to know about Crack Verbal, please follow us. And all the best for your GMAT for students who are preparing for the first time. Do well. Thank you.